Hey YouTube, today I'm going to demonstrate how to do a traditional men's style haircut. Now, you always want to comb through their hair. You figure out, where the cowlicks are at, how thick or thin the hair might be. You ask the customer how long has it been since their last haircut, if they like it tight on the sides. Get a good idea of what direction you're going to go with it before you even start. You always want to start these haircuts in the taper section in the back of the head. Now, you always want to make sure and come up no higher than halfway up the back of the ear. I like starting everything when possible with the Oster detachable blades because you got to think of the Oster blades as the workhorse. Um, Use those to remove most of the bulk and you'll find that it's very efficient. As you can see here, I'm removing the bulk in the taper section. We like to call the taper section the A section to keep it simple. Basically, the top of the taper section is the occipital bone, and then from there on up until you reach the crown, that's called the B section. Above the crown, we'll call that the C section. So you want to make sure and rock your wrist here. That way your transition from the A to the B section is as smooth as possible, and it makes it easier on the next step with the clipper over comb. Notice right here how I'm using a taper angle on the detachable number 2 blade. You never want to lay it down flat or else you're going to cut way too much hair above the taper section. And then I'm using my comb here to move the ear out of the way so you don't give yourself a chance to cut the customer in the back of the ear. I'm going to get the hair slightly damp here so you can see my clipper over comb techniques a little better. I'm going to start right in the middle, and we're going to divide it up into about 6 or 7 strips going either direction. So you can see we're in the taper section still, so right here in the back we're going to start cutting across the face of the comb. That's in the A section, and as soon as you cross the occipital bone, you're in the B section, so you want to focus on cutting across the bottom of the comb here with a slight over direction. Over directing is very important so you don't put a line in the hair. I like to give this first section a couple passes and check it in the mirror for any shadows that I might see, and if everything looks good, then you move on to the next strip. I'm going to show you how I did the left side here so you get a better view of what I did here. You see on the right there, you see my initial guideline, and I'm baby stepping into it here so you can see what I'm following and what I'm looking at here. Feel free to slow the video down. After you do this for 12 years like I have, you develop really good muscle memory, and you can see there's a slight over direction in my movements that after you do it for a while, you're not even going to realize you're doing it, but it's going to work for you. You want to make sure, and as you're going up, over directing, you're holding the comb at about a 45-degree angle. For some reason, it just works, and it helps the hair lay across the bottom of the comb as you're working your way up. You can see as I'm moving sideways here, I'm matching my current guide to the guide that I set in the taper section. You can see here as I'm going around, I'm not losing my guideline as I move over. I'm always making sure I'm grabbing part of my previous guide. Okay, we're gonna move to the top now, and I'm gonna comb all his bangs down, and we established we're gonna take off about an inch or so. And this in a way is gonna set my guide for the top. So first I'm checking to see how much room I have there. As you can see, you comb it down, and I'm gonna cut about an inch or so off, and that's gonna set my guide for the top. And I had a little bit of trouble getting the footage here of what I'm looking at, but if you look closely when I pull the hair up, you'll see that I'm following my guide that I set on the bangs. You'll see it right here. That was the first strip right down the middle. Now we're gonna break the top up into 5 sections. You're gonna go down the middle 1, and then 2, 3 to the left, and then 2, 3 to the right. So this is number 2, working straight back. You can see the guideline there that I set right now in the first section, and I'm gonna follow that all the way back. Now this is the third section, and you want to follow the contour of the head. So you just pull it away from the head. You don't necessarily have to pull it straight up. You're working with a round surface, so you want to pull it away from the head. And we know that he's combing it from left to right, so you don't really want to take too much bulk. You just want to make sure that the hair is getting cut, and that it's even with the rest of the hair next to it. Now I'm working to the right side. Now this is the second strip on the right side now. The left side's done. You always want to work on your comb technique. You want to get a tight comb job. That way you ensure that the hair is going to be as even as possible. You can see my guideline there on the left I'm following. Still cutting off about an inch. Now I'm working on the third strip on the top. Now what you want to focus on is matching your guideline from the top to the guideline that you had on the side with the clip over comb technique. So you're basically matching one guideline to the other. You want the hair to be even to the hair next to it. It doesn't have to be the same length, but it has to be even. So that means you don't have any high or low spots randomly in the hair. Now I'm going to demonstrate how to do a little bit of scissors over comb work here. Now this is basically just very, very light touch-up work. I prefer to do this than to use thinning shears because I don't believe in thinning shears. I think if you have all these techniques down, you don't need thinning shears. What those tend to do is give the customer split ends and makes the hair look kind of frizzy looking. Anytime you're working on the top of the ear here, you don't want to apply very much pressure because that's a very sensitive area on the customer. See how I pull the ear back a little bit, just kind of get out of the way and work with the very edge of the T-outliner blade. As you can see, he likes a really nice tight taper here, so I took the one off, and now I'm using the flicking motion because I'm in the taper section and I'm keeping it really low, just to at the bottom of the ear. I'm, going down with the grain here because the hair growth's going up, so you want to come across the grain, so sometimes you have to go down with it. This is just that little touch-up work. You're reading the grain of the hair here, and after a while you'll know the capabilities of your machines, and you'll know by looking at a length, oh, I gotta either open it or close it to get that, and not put a line in there or something. And I put the plastic one on again, and since I did a number 2, I'm just gonna flick the very edge of the perimeter there with the one just to tighten it up a little bit more. See, I'm holding a taper angle as I go. As you can see, I wiped a little bit of the lather away to see what I'm doing. I want to make sure there's nothing under there that you can nick. Always make sure and stretch the skin, and you're going to prevent the possibility of nicking the customer. Alright guys, there you have it. That's the final result. What do you guys think? If you like it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Look us up on Instagram and Facebook under First Street Barbershop. Let me know what kind of haircuts you want to see me post. I'll make sure and put them up. Peace.